9440.
4405.
9445.
Welcome back. It's time for another edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted, the program where you get to help make Calhoun County a better and safer place by helping us lock up the bad guys. And by us, I don't actually mean me. I'm just the host of the show, Chris Wright. This guy right here, Matthew Wade, Chief Deputy for the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office. Good to see you, Matthew.
Hey, glad to be back for another show.
And you're the one that locks them up.
Yeah, and a lot of times it's those great deputies, the unsung heroes that do the grunt work and that we couldn't make it without.
Well, this week, another good result.
Another good result. We had 7 arrests this week that brought our count up to 3,178 arrests since the inception of the show. If you look right there, John Geyer, deputies went to get him on a tip. He jumped out the window without opening it first Sunday morning, and we had to deploy our canine who ran him down and convinced him that giving up was the best answer.
How did he convince him?
He convinced him through talking. The dog used his mouth to convince the guy that it was best to give up. You know, and this guy was wanted for sex crimes, and we'd been looking after him, and he had ran from us on several different occasions. Really not a nice guy. Glad to have him in jail. Glad our canine could be a part of it and make sure that we convinced him that that's not the right thing to do.
Yeah, don't run from the police. And we'll talk more about that with our crazy criminal of the week later on in the show. This weekend, if I'm looking nice and tan today, that's because I was down at the beach celebrating Labor Day like a lot of people were. Laying there fast asleep after playing hard in the water all day. I'm dead tired. I'm as asleep as a man can be. And all of a sudden, this noise, I have no idea where it's coming from or what it is, starts blasting off. Wakes me up. I forget where I am. A lot of people had that kind of an experience. I think it was Saturday night.
It was.
Yeah, we had an Amber Alert that went out. For a lot of people, it's the first time they had received an Amber Alert on their cell phones. A lot of people are now questioning that, wondering exactly how that works, what's going on, how they got onto the list to receive the alert. How does that work?
You know, and to be quite frankly with you, when my phone went off, it was the first time that it ever happened to me as well, so I really wasn't sure either. I was looking at it and thought, okay, there's an Amber Alert. How did this get here? Is this an app I've got? I wasn't sure either. So after looking at it, I thought, well, you know, okay, this happened in Fairfield, but okay, I'm in bed, but if I need to see this information on patrol or if I'm out and I see this car, I'll put this aside. And I think it's a good information to have. How it come about, who puts it out, is through the Amber Alert system, through the government. And that government doesn't necessarily mean that the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office or any other agency put that out on their phone, because we didn't. We had nothing to do with it, but it did come out. A law enforcement agency has to meet certain criteria for an Amber Alert, and apparently it met that. They submitted that to the federal government, who pushed it out through the phones somehow.
And it doesn't just happen by one person saying, hey, let's put priority on this. There's a set of criteria that have been set up, and you know from all of your experience in law enforcement, there are a lot of cases where some people might think, okay, we need to issue an alert, but this was the first time it's come over on our phones. It fit the criteria.
It fit the criteria, and I don't know all the facts about the case, so me passing judgment on the case one way or the other would be a little premature. But to issue an Amber Alert, there's criteria that every law enforcement agency has to meet. Once you meet that criteria, you submit that to the federal government, to the state government. And once it meets that criteria, they would push it out. So saying, you know, the phone got an Amber Alert on their phone, some people on Facebook thought the sheriff's office pushed that out, and we didn't. But it's definitely something that I think could is a useful tool that could save a child's life, and I'm all for it.
Absolutely. If you're wondering about the settings on your phone, you can actually choose to not receive those. If you say, well, I just can't be woken up in the middle of the night or whatever, you want to turn that off. If you go into the settings of your phone, there's a place where you can turn off the government alerts, and you won't get that anymore. I don't think many of the people watching this show are going to do that. I think the viewers of this program want to help anytime they can. Absolutely, and this hopefully won't be going off all the time. Too, if remote chance that I could ever help a child, that's what I'm going to do. So that's where I stand with it. Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations, Sheriff Amerson, John Garlick, and Matthew Wade, my friends.
for 10 years of Calhoun County's Most Wanted and over 3,000 arrests. Way to go, guys.
Congratulations, Calhoun County's Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers, for 10 great years. And thank you to the citizens of Calhoun County for putting 3,000 people behind the bars. Yay!
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a wretch like me.
I once was
Homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost. But now I am sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston with Family Links, and this is the Parenting Tip of the Week. As parents, do we recognize the behavioral signs of drug influence? In this complex society, there are a list of problems parents face with their children. Unfortunately, our children are being bombarded with drug use messages daily. Alcohol remains the #1 choice of drugs among teens, and the rise of marijuana use among 8th to 12th graders has increased since 2011. But that is not all. Prescription drug use has emerged as a new drug threat that requires immediate response from us as parents and a concerned society. Parents, how aware are you about the current drug trends? How much time have you taken to educate yourself on what is being offered to your children? Are you aware what to look for to tell if your children have been drinking or using drugs? Take time to find out what the signs and symptoms are to recognize alcohol and drug use in your children. And remember, the bottom line is to pay close attention to your children. If one of the symptoms of drug or alcohol use is observed, there is cause for concern and confrontation. Don't be afraid to have the necessary conversations. Our first duty to our children is to be their parent and not their friend. For more information on this parenting tip or others like this, please contact Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up in our lineup this week, Rudy Mills. Mr. Mills, last known to be living in Piedmont. He's wanted for probation violation on fraudulent use of a credit card. And here is Veronica Slayton. Miss Slayton, last known to be living in Jacksonville. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession and receipt of a controlled substance. And meet Janice Schluter. Miss Schluter, last known to be living in Gadsden. She's wanted for failure to appear on chemical endangerment of a child. And here is Ricky Bradford. Mr. Bradford, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on probation revocation of theft of property second. And here is Quindarius Taylor. Mr. Taylor, last known to be living in Anniston, wanted for failure to appear on promoting prison contraband. And take a look at Virginia Hester. Miss Hester, last known to be living in Anniston, wanted for failure to appear on illegal possession of prescription drugs. And last up for our first half, Robert Nicholson. Mr. Nicholson, last known to be living in Anniston, wanted for failure to appear on theft of property third. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
More bad guys in just a few minutes, but right now, Matthew, it's time to turn the attention away from the bad guys for a bit.
It's kind of a little different. They come back, it's probably a surprise that I was sitting here with you.
We move things around a little bit to get our guests on here. Mike and Jackie with Alabama Power are joining us. We've got a big day coming up on Saturday, Renew Our Rivers. It's that time again.
That's right. Yeah, early Saturday morning. Looking for a lot of volunteers to come out and participate.
A lot of people were probably out on the river this weekend doing some Labor Day celebrating.
Oh, no doubt. I was on the lake myself this weekend, saw quite a few people out. So
it's a perfect weekend to clean up after Labor Day.
That's right.
A lot of people get out on the. Is the problem with our rivers mainly people who are out using the rivers, or is a lot of it from people who don't necessarily use it, but it just kind of gets washed in there?
From what I've seen over the years I've been doing this, most of it comes in off the roadsides. Mm-hmm. Washes into a ditch goes into a creek, and the creek goes into the river. And that's where most of the outdoor enthusiasts are not throwing their trash out I haven't seen it. I know it happens occasionally, and occasionally something will get away from somebody and blow out of the back of a truck, but heavy rains wash the trash that get away from people.
And then, of course, you got people like Matthew here that throw perfectly good airplanes into the lake.
Just once.
Just once. That's
Just
right.
once. I'll try my best not to do that again.
Did you clean up your mess?
They actually, they hired somebody to pick the plane up out of the water and did contain it and cleaned it up because it had some fuel and some oil in the water. So they actually did that, and which is good. I'm an outdoors enthusiast, and that's one of my big things that I teach my son. If we go somewhere, we have some people that let us fish in their ponds, and one of the things I tell them, we'll never leave we'll leave it better than it was when we found it. We don't leave trash. We clean up if we see it, and I want it to be there for future use. So
they're not making any new rivers, are they?
No.
No. But one of the things about Ohatchee and where we're going to be cleaning up this Saturday is the causeway that the people drive through. That's a lot of our trash that we find right there. So we'll have people up and down walking that causeway to get all the trash that people throw out of their cars and that blow in from the roads.
So what all will we be doing on Saturday?
Well, we're going to have our start time is 7:30 in the morning, and at that time people will sign in, get their T-shirts, and then get their assignments for the day. We'll have people on the road walking the causeway picking up trash, and we'll have some boats out. Actually,
I'll have 2 of our boats from Alabama Power, and plus I know there's some individuals going to have their private boats volunteering those, and we're going to canvass the lower section of the lake, basically where a lot of the trash is blown into some of the pockets from the wind and the current. We'll be taking off that morning from in the check-in areas at Lakeshore.
Lakeshore Marina in Ohatchee.
And so it's 7:30, and by 12 we'll probably be eating a good lunch for all the volunteers that participate. So it'll be a good time.
Do you need anybody to ride around on a pontoon boat and just kind of point out where the trash is?
Well,
everybody who gets on a boat has to help clean.
We have a lot of that, but we can use any help we can get.
Yes.
Hey, there's a can over there.
That's right.
Whoop, there's another one.
That's it. And we're actually going to have some inmates come out. They'll be supervised by correctional officers, of course, but we're going to have them come out, and they will be working to pick up some trash and do their part to help repay society.
You mentioned that most of the trash is coming off the roadways and such. It's not the people who are out there using the rivers and the lakes for recreational purposes. But the people coming out to clean, is that mostly the people who are out there, the fishermen and such?
Yes, most of them are the people who have, a direct connection with the reservoir or with the river system that's coming out to volunteer. They want to help clean it up and do their part. So it's appreciative for sure.
We also have students from Ohatchee High School coming out this weekend. We're expecting around 25 of them to help us clean up, and that's for various clubs. And then we're looking at a little over 100 volunteers that we're expecting to come out this year. Last year was our first year in Ohatchee. And this cleanup this year is part of the 15th anniversary of Renew Our Rivers, which actually started on the Neely Henry in Gadsden. So this is our second year in Calhoun County, and we are looking for a great turnout and to hopefully pick up a lot of trash.
That's right.
Do we remember how much we picked up last year?
We don't have the total for exactly just Calhoun County. We have the total for Neely Henry, and over the last 15 years, we've picked up 490 tons of trash just on Neely Henry.
Wow.
And that's with the help of 15,000 volunteers.
Yeah.
15,000 people.
And that's just a local community getting involved. That's just this particular lake in this region. So, we do it all over the state, and really a 4-state area, the Renew Our Rivers program is. So, like she said, it's the 15th year, and it's...
Do we have a way of gauging the success over the 15 years?
We do. We keep up with it. From when we started keeping records, in 15 years, over 58,000 volunteers have participated, and we've removed over 13.8 million pounds of trash. But what we've seen is that time period from 2004 to roughly 2008, that was about the peak where we got the most poundage. Well, it has started to drop. Our volunteer numbers are staying up there, which is good. That's what we want. So that's staying level. We're having great participation, and our trash, especially our large items, that's starting to decline, and that's what we want to see.
So with the same number of volunteers, less trash being picked up, that would lead us to assume that there's less trash in the river.
That's right.
Yes. And I think it's the awareness. Renew Our Rivers has helped people be aware of the trash in the river, to clean it up and not to throw things out of your boat or your car. So awareness is a major tool to help keep the trash levels down. Last year in Ohatchee, we were able to get a lot of big items out of the water because nobody had ever cleaned that area before. This year, there's not quite as many big items. It's going to be a lot of small trash that we'll be picking up.
All right, well, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and talk about this a little bit more when we come back after the second half of this week's lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations on Calhoun County Most Wanted and Crime Stoppers for 10 years on the air and 3,000 arrests.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Most Wanted, 10 years on the air, and to Crime Stoppers for their 3,000 arrests. Great job, guys. Keep up the good work.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead, drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak, a wretch like me.
I once was.
Homeless,
Broken. Sad.
just lost. But now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Randy Holland. Miss Holland, last known to be living in Oxford. She's wanted for writing multiple bad checks and failure to appear on writing multiple bad checks. And here is Kevin Crum. Mr. Crum, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to pay child support, the face of a deadbeat dad. And meet Linda Kitchen. Miss Kitchen, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for writing multiple bad checks. And here's another deadbeat dad, Shea Parker. Mr. Parker, last known to be living in Anniston. Failure to pay child support. And meet Bobby Curry. Mr. Curry, last known to be living in Alpine. He's also wanted for failure to appear on child support. And last up in our lineup this week, Tracy Zoller. Miss Zoller, last known to be living in Anniston. She's wanted for writing multiple bad checks. And that's it for this week's lineup. If you have any information on these folks, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 238-1414.
We'll have our Crazy Criminal of the Week here in just a little bit, also our Crime Stoppers segment of the show. But right now, we are talking with Mike and Katie from Alabama Power about the Renew Our Rivers. That is coming up this Saturday in Ohatchee. Hopefully, we'll have a lot of volunteers out there picking up trash and making our rivers just look nicer and better for us, better for the fish, better for everybody. But as you mentioned, Katie, it's not just about the physical improvement that we're going to make on Saturday. It's about the educational awareness that's going to impact things for generations.
Yeah, we're really trying to focus on the schools and bringing in younger volunteers to teach them the lessons they need to learn today in order to keep our waterways safe and enjoyable for years to come. I think that's the most important thing. Is we can ask for tons and tons of volunteers, and it's great, but we really need to focus on educating young people to keep our waterways clean.
And I know you mentioned we've got some kids coming in from Ohatchee that'll be out there. What about some of the other schools? How are we getting into the schools and getting that message to the kids?
Well, we do a lot of different outreach programs involving our environmental education pieces and Renew Our Rivers.
We have actually a curriculum called Message in the Bottle that was created from Charlotte Pfeiffer in Gadsden. And actually her husband, Gene Pfeiffer, is the one who had the idea to start Renew Our Rivers in the first place. And all because a bottle was found and a message in it and how many miles it had traveled. Well, this was developed into a lesson plan in a coloring book that we go, and when we have the opportunity, we go talk to like 2nd through 4th graders and things like that. And so it's kind of an interactive lesson about, hey, this is what happens from trash when you leave it on the side of the road and maybe it washes in, or if you dump it in. And it's a story about how the trash ends up all the way to the Gulf. And so it's it's a good little story, and so we really are focusing a lot on education with it, and it's been highly successful.
As you mentioned, this can't work without volunteers getting out there and doing the work. but Alabama Power is also very instrumental in making things happen. And of course, Alabama Power has a very strong relationship with our rivers.
Absolutely. You know, we have a huge interest in the river system and keeping them clean. Most everybody that works, I know in my group, we're all outdoorsmen and volunteer, you know, and for other things, but we like to get involved on the rivers. We want to get it and keep it clean. So it's a natural for our environmental department to spearhead this type of volunteer program. But we can't do it with 2 or 3 of us in our group. It takes the thousands of volunteers and the thousands of hours, you know, to take care of it.
All right, let's step back just a second from the time the trash is in the water and talk about the trash getting into the water. Matthew, people need to know it's not okay.
It's not okay, and there is crimes against it. Criminal littering, you can be arrested for littering. You know, people say, well, so if I throw a cigarette butt out my window, can I get arrested? You could get a ticket for that. Does that normally happen often? Probably not, but it doesn't make it right. And when we see people doing that, that's kind of a pet peeve of ours. You know, you pull up to any intersection, you look out the window, and you can see just tons and tons of cigarette butts.
And those are the worst. I've been out there trying to pick up beside the roadway, and you know, you get somebody's McDonald's bag, you look at that, and that's horrible. But at the same time, that McDonald's bag is going to be gone before the cigarette butt is.
Yes.
The cigarette butt's going to be there for years and years and years and years.
You know, it goes back to education. It goes back to, you know, by the time you get to the punishment side, it's a failure because somebody thinks it's okay to do that. And there are criminal penalties for finding people to do that. You know, sometimes it's hard to prosecute those, but it does matter. It does make a difference.
It is, and you do see it from time to time. Like I said, get away from somebody and blow out of the back of the truck. They may not be aware of it. So I know it's not all on purpose, but sometimes it is on purpose. That people just, I don't understand that mindset, but they'll sit it in the parking lot and wait for the rain and the wind to blow it off.
All right. Well, Katie, let's talk again about the specifics of Saturday so the people who want to get involved can get involved.
Yeah, we're asking volunteers to contact the Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce. You can call them at 256-237-3536 or visit their website. We'd like to have a good registration in advance to help speed along the process on Saturday, also to know how many t-shirts and food we should cook for everybody. We will have hot dogs and barbecue for volunteers following the cleanup. And we ask for everybody to meet at Lakeshore Marina at 7:30 in the morning.
You're not getting Matthew to fry up any turkeys?
Coming.
We didn't know about turkeys.
Not quite yet.
You ever had a turkey fried by Matthew?
No.
Ooh.
We'll have to remember that for next
year.
year.
I do remember that. That's right.
Thanksgiving, show up at the jail.
Yeah.
And you will eat something like you've never eaten before. Good stuff. But the hot dogs and barbecue sound good. Everybody loves a t-shirt.
Yes.
And it's nice to be able to wear a t-shirt where people can look at it and say, you know what, that's a person that actually got out and did something for our community.
That's right.
Yes, and you know, we're very thankful for the volunteers because, you know, we just provide support, but it takes community volunteers to set these cleanups up and to implement and make sure that it's all ran smoothly. And Calhoun County Chamber of Commerce and all the volunteers involved with Ohatchee's cleanup on Saturday, they've done a great job in their second year.
Well, and when everybody gets there, what to expect, wear clothes you can get a little dirty, maybe get a little wet possibly, but I wouldn't suggest wearing flip-flops and short pants because we'll be picking up glass and things like that. But we'll have a safety briefing before we send everybody out to pick up trash. So.
All right.
And sunscreen. Sunscreen's really important this Saturday.
Yes.
It will be good. Thanks for reminding us about that one. I always forget. All right, thank you very much, Mike and Katie. Hope we'll have a great event on Saturday. Hope you can all get out there and participate. We'll be right back with the crazy criminal of the week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Congratulations to Calhoun County's Crime Stoppers and the Most Wanted program that airs on the TV all the time, and for being on the air for 10 years, and also for arresting over 3,000 people. Great job, guys.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to put your deer stalkers on and help our investigators with these cases. First up on your caseload this week, between August 13th and August 14th, this residence on Mountain Road in Ohatchee was broken into. And on August 15th, this residence on Mud Street in Ohatchee was also broken into. They got away with firearms, costume jewelry, and electronics. And sometime on August 15th, the utility trailer was stolen from this residence on Jamback Road in Anniston. Also on August 15th, this residence on Berry Street in Oxford was broken into. They got away with a television and 2 cell phones. And sometime between August 18th and August 19th, this shop located on Mud Street in Lincoln was broken into. And sometime between June 18th and August 13th, a suspect or suspects broke into the Coosa Valley Riding Club. They got away with 8 air conditioner units, 2 refrigerators, and 2 50-gallon metal barrels. And sometime between August 17th and August 18th, a deer blind and tree stand were stolen from a wooded area located on Halls Chapel Road in Alexandria. And between August 20th and August 21st, a white Ford van was broken into. The van was parked at a residence on Mountain Drive in Jacksonville. They got away with a Bluetooth, TomTom GPS first aid kit, digital service activation meter, and tools were stolen from that vehicle. And between August 22nd and August 23rd, a green and black Kawasaki motorcycle was stolen from an address on Woodruff Street in Anniston. And last up on your caseload this week, on August 21st, a white male driving an early 1990s model Chevrolet truck pulled up at a residence on School Cutoff Road in Jacksonville and loaded a Murray push mower onto the truck. When he was confronted by the homeowner, he jumped into the truck and left, traveling north on William Street. Somebody must know who that was. And if anybody knows anything else about these cases, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 256-238-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
The Crazy Criminal of the Week is sponsored by Systems by Design. Simply Smart Security. Find out how they can protect your home or business at systemsbydesign.org.
Our crazy criminal this week, Matthew, is out in the middle of the night on his motorcycle going a lot faster than he should. Police officer sees him, clocks him at about twice the speed limit on the interstate.
Wow.
So he takes off, and the motorcycle just goes even faster to get away, right? So he gets away. The first officer stops the chase out of public safety, I guess. I don't know. But another officer has heard the call and is in position and sees the motorcycle rider coming off the interstate, and he crashes into the guardrail. So now he goes off on foot. They had to chase him down. You talked about the criminal that we had to send our K9 dog out on this week. Well, they sent the dogs after this one, and he was caught. But the crazy criminal part here, they told him, so we clocked you at 127 miles an hour. And his response, oh, I got up to 183 while you were chasing me.
You know, and I would call, you know, when Mo and Ron show up at the same place at the same time, bad stuff happens. You know, if Ron just showed up or just Mo showed up, you might get away with it. But when Mo and Ron show up at the same place, bad things happen.
Tell it to the judge, kid.
That's right.
And don't ever expect your license back.
You tell him that, and we won't worry about nothing else.
Right. Okay, well, that's all the time that we have for this week. We'll be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.